Hello everybody. Because Super Nintendo has some of the best games in the world and some of the coolest game boxes in the world, I thought I'd show you my whole Super Nintendo game collection. So here we go. First up, Another World. A really cool adventure game, really hard, been ported to many other consoles as well, but I have it for the SNES. An excellent shoot 'em up made by Konami and I guess part of the Treasure game team. Some really cool effects here. Battle Clash, probably the best game for the Super Nintendo scope. Super Castlevania 4. An old game for sure, but still some classic platforming here. And then the newer Castlevania, known as Vampire's Kiss, here in Europe. I think it's unfairly compared to the PC Engine game. This really has nothing to do with it. It's a totally different game with some similar elements. A good game, but naturally not as good as the PC Engine, but totally different. Chrono Trigger. Probably the best Japanese RPG I've ever played, and one of the coolest boxes ever. Here's the contents of it. Well, the game and manual and all the other pamphlets and the really cool two maps. First up is 3 maps for 3 eras and 3 maps for the rest of the 3 eras. On the other side is some really cool poster art by Akira Toriyama, and another one is a really cool set to have in its complete form. I'll just try to set them over here without too much crumbling them. Then we have Cybernator. Actually, this has been ported to PlayStation 2 as well, known with the name Assault Suits Vulcan. It's a pretty good game, not one of Konami's best for sure, but you should try it. Donkey Kong Country. One of the best looking games on the Super Nintendo, that's for sure. Here's 1 and 3, and I have number 2 as the big box with the player's guide. Here's the contents. So there's the normal game inside and a player's guide with maps and everything, where are each of the bonus areas and all the secrets, so that's cool. And then Final Fantasy II. Many people think this is the finest role-playing game on the Super Nintendo if you don't count the graphics and all that. I personally love Chrono Trigger and then Final Fantasy III, which is 6, but 3 in the US. A really cool box here as well. Here's the game and the manual and consumer information booklet and a map here as well. This is pretty old school right here, but a cool thing to have. More maps here. And then Final Fantasy III. A fantastic game, nobody can argue with that. And even a cooler box. Here's the game and all the pamphlets and a double-sided map for the World of Ruin and the World of Balance with all the places here. And as a bonus there is also a poster with Moogle on there. And on the other side is some cool merchandise, t-shirts for Square games and soundtracks and stuff like that. Flashback, an adventure game in a similar vein of Another World. F-Zero, an amazing launch game for the Super Nintendo. I have one opened and one still in the plastic wrapper. Krusty Super Funhouse, a bit banged up my copy here, but a really nice puzzle game in the vein of Lemmings. One of the finest games ever made, Zelda, A Link to the Past. And naturally, here comes the contents. The game itself, manual and booklet, top secrets, hint book, and of course the map of the overworld. Some really fond memories come from looking at this map. And map of the first 3 dungeons. I also have an advertisement for the first Super Nintendo games. This is pretty cool. One of the best Disney games, I think, The Magical Quest starring Mickey Mouse. Awesome game. Mega Man X, X2 and Mega Man 7. Still missing X3. A bit too expensive, but you know, I'll get it. I guess X is my favorite from these ones. Mickey Mania, another cool Disney platformer. Then for Collectivities Sega I got all 5 NHL games for the Super Nintendo. Been playing these for a while as a kid. Pilot Wings, fantastic game. You know, you don't need to shoot things for a game to be enjoyable. Secret of Mana. This is actually one of the only role-playing games that has been brought to Europe. So we didn't get any Final Fantasy games, we got Secret of Mana. Well, it's a fantastic game, nothing to complain about here. The game, manual and booklet, and a cool poster of the Mana tree, and the world map here as well. Starwing, a technical marvel. It's a pretty good game to this day. Street Fighter 2. Everybody had Street Fighter on the Super Nintendo. Stunt Race FX, also a polygonal game like the Starwing, but a racing game. Then Super Mario All-Stars and Super Mario World. Now it doesn't get any better than this, platform-wise. Fantastic games. Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Stars, a really nice crossover by Nintendo and Square, a role-playing game with Mario, which started the Paper Mario games and all those. And that's that, to be continued in part 2.